And I don't see Michael here, so in his place, I'll try to speak. And Selena, if you are here, please speak to add to it. But what we're doing is we are engaging in a scoping review to begin to look at the multidisciplinary contributions from all of our professions about the value and the effects of school-based family counseling. This has not been done before, and we have had some fits and starts. We've had, because several of us are affiliated with universities more in a clinical capacity rather than a full-time capacity. So we have had a few glitches, and then COVID just kind of wiped us out, as well as Michael Kelly's wonderful presentation that he did to the other day. He has done this fabulous organizing job about servicing social workers, trying to organize a COVID response. So we've got those other things going on, which is wonderful. And then we had a hurricane in the Bahamas and a variety of things. So what we are looking at is collecting data to put together that we hope will come together in the next several months. We've looked at many hundreds of reports, books, dissertations, a variety of things. And so we're right in the middle of it, and I don't have a lot to report yet, but that's where we are. Selena, do you want to say anything?
Yes. Thank you, Kathy, for summarizing what we have been doing. And well, we faced some difficulties when we tried to replicate the search they have been doing in English into Spanish. So we have to rethink and start looking differences, cultural differences, when we are looking the data, because we have different ways to report. We use different keywords. So we have been working hard, and Michael, Kathy, and all the staff have helped a lot to rethink about that. And we are very happy to find a lot of articles in Spanish and in English. In Spanish, we have less articles than in English, but we have a lot of articles, and it has been a very good experience to take note that there are a lot of kind of intervention done in a school that are including mental health professional and health professional doing very beautiful things. So it has been a great experience to participate in this team, and I have learned a lot. Thank you so much, Kathy, for your help, and it's a wonderful, really a wonderful team. So we continue writing.
Thank you, Selena. I feel the same way. It's been a real labor of love, I think.
Okay, thank you, Kathy and Selena. We will now have a report from Erwin on the SBFC Refugee and Immigrant Research and Intervention Team.
Great. Well, hello everybody. Nice to see some people who I saw yesterday and new people today. I hope everyone's doing very well. So I have a document that I will share. I'll screen share it real quickly. And I'll just give you a little bit of an update in terms of what we've been doing as the special interest group looking at specifically at the immigrant and refugees. So you should appear, it should appear like 2 pages. Can everyone see that? There's
Yep.
a Word document. So probably the first thing that we should mention is that the chair and the co-chair of the committee has changed, and partly because Dr. Hans Everts has finally fully retired, and as a result, Dr. Stephanie Morrison and myself have taken over as the chair and the co-chair of the team. We're really happy. We're basically going to be working on one project over the next year, and that project is completing a book that we secured a publishing contract with Routledge. And the name of the book is called School-Based Family Counseling with Immigrants and Refugees. The book is basically a how-to book or a practical application of using the principles of school-based family counseling to work specifically with refugee and immigrant children and families. And so right now we're in the process of recruiting authors who would be interested in contributing a chapter to the book. On the second page over here, this is the tentative table of contents of the book. And you'll see that they're color coded because the color codes represent the different aspects of the theoretical approach of school-based family counseling. And these are some of the ideas of the types of chapters that we're looking for. We have some authors who have already agreed to contribute chapters, and we're still trying to secure authors for other chapters. So if anybody is interested in potentially thinking about their work in relation to the specific populations of refugees and immigrants, then feel free to contact me or Stephanie and Brian and kind of float your idea for a chapter to us. That would be wonderful. I can already think from yesterday some interesting re-applications of some of the presentations that I listened to, focusing specifically on how we support refugee and immigrants. So just so you know, if you're interested in contributing a chapter and reach out to me, we have set a deadline for January 1st, 2021. And if you're interested, I will send a little bit more detail in what the structure of that chapter would look like. We're limited in terms to a word count of 5,500 per chapter. So relatively short, but that's what we want because we want this book to be something that a practitioner can pick up and kind of search for ideas on how to confront particular problems or pressures that they're facing with their refugee and immigrant children. So that's that. The other thing that we're looking at, starting probably next year after we finish with this book project, is to think about new projects, specifically maybe ones that don't involve publications, but some virtual projects around using school-based family counseling to support immigrant and refugee children and their families. So also, if you're interested in joining our meeting, we have a meeting next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's that. I don't know, Brian, do you want to add anything?
No, that's a great overview.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the third special interest group I want to report on is a new one, and it's called the Disaster Shock Global Response Team. And I'm just going to share my screen here. In March, as the pandemic was really getting underway globally, I got in touch with a former co-author of this book, Disaster Shock: How to Cope with the Emotional Stress of a Major Disaster. And we decided that it'd be nice if this was, we had a copy of this in some other languages. And so we formed what we call the Disaster Shock Global Volunteer Team. And that team eventually had 101 persons on it from 27 different countries. And we then were able to get translations into 21 different languages. And Nina, who's here, was instrumental in getting a Zulu translation. We have Russian, Chinese, German. We have 21 language versions of this book. And we called that team the Disaster Shock Global Volunteer Team, and it is now morphed into the Disaster Shock Global Response Team. which meets every 2 weeks. And our goal at this point is to develop culturally appropriate and relevant interventions that we can add to the third section of the book in the different languages. And so on our website, the book can be downloaded. And all the different, you can see the different versions here of the book that are available. And this took a long time to do. It took us a while to find teams and put them together. Our goal is to have them in an EPUB version as well. And we've also added expressive arts and recovery resources because our original book had a section on art, which is very useful with children. And this particular team has put together activities for children and adults. And I'll just show you the anxiety monster activity, which is a useful one to do with young children. And here's a description of the activity. And we plan to add more to this particular expressive arts and recovery section. I'm going to play now a 4-minute tape from one of our translators.
Hello, my name is Ning Tan. I am working at the University of St. Joseph in Macau as a social work assistant professor and program coordinator. I helped with the translation work of disaster shock in both Mandarin and Cantonese. The members of the Mandarin team include Zhu Ruoyun, Deng Shuyu, Wu Yuan, Su Zhenrong, Zhang Jiayuan, Fan Xingyue. These volunteers were found and organized by a local agency in China called Darling Consulting. And the members of the Cantonese team include Philip Yuan, Julian Lam, Joanna Wang, Valerie Liang. They are from Caritas Macau. The outbreak of COVID-19 started in China during the most important holiday of China, which is Chinese New Year. So during that time, the majority of Chinese people went back to their hometown to be together with their family. I was able to experience the nationwide quarantine with my family in countryside. So luckily, I was not affected much by this outbreak personally, and I had the time and energy to help others in more critical situations. I provided a couple of free online trainings for professionals with the topics such as psychological first aid. And I also worked with the agency Darling Consulting in providing some free webinars and other trainings. So I was paying a great attention to online resources and network. That's how I noticed the message about the need to find volunteers to translate disaster shock. And I read this manual and I thought it was very helpful for Chinese families as well. So I contacted Professor Brian Gerard immediately. And I contacted Darling Consulting, who was willing to find volunteers very quickly, and they finished the translation in Mandarin within 1 month. Later on, I came back to Macau to teach online courses for my university. I contacted Macau Caritas to see if they are willing to translate in Cantonese. They expressed a great interest in this book. Besides translation work, they also offer to produce hundreds of hard copies of this book and donate them to local schools and social service agencies. They are also planning to provide some workshops for local professionals to make sure that they know how to use this manual for individuals and families in need. And in mainland China, Darling Consulting published a fine article for Chinese readers to explain very well about the background and the major contents of this book. Over 5,000 subscribers of Darling Consulting received the book through online links, and they were able to freely download the book and share it with other people. Darling Consulting is also planning to have an online book for readers and users. So that's pretty much the distribution work that's still going on. And it's a great honor to be part of this international team. I hope with the help of this book, people all over the world can get through this difficult time with more power and more confidence. Thank you very much.
Jackie will now say a few words. Jackie lives in New York, and she had a distribution in New York, which was a particularly hard-hit area. So, Jackie, over to you.
Thank you, Brian. Historically speaking, I was privileged to know the authors in the 80s of the disaster shock book to begin with, and it was given out for the Loma Prieta earthquake, which at that point we thought this was very localized and important work. And all these years up until now, it's been added on, refined, and it's now what it is. And that is a global, amazing response that we all, right now, even at the Oxford Symposium level of participants, can get involved in some way. The Oxford, to me, has always been the power of universality. And this is what this particular disaster shock manual, besides being that it's at no cost, which is a big item, of course, these days, and it's so distributable because of the language. Being in New York City at the time right now, we were the epicenter in March. And all of a sudden, besides trying to sequester my family, my large family, worrying about my practice, worrying about, different sites that I'm working at, all of a sudden, this book was something that just hit home because we all wanted to do something that didn't involve just our center of the world, which for me at that time now is New York City. So when the opportunity came across that this is a global response, I said, this is what we all can do and we should do. So I have the dissemination of the book as my particular job. I didn't have anything to do with the translations, but that was a very good selling point for me. I went to every organization known to whatever, therapist, APA, CAMP, and AMP, and I had to do a little bit of selling. The minute they heard the languages that were translated and the minute they heard that it was free, everyone decided to put it on their websites and their blogs, and it really was very well taken care of in that way. I thought at first I was just going to send it to my colleagues, and then I know I needed a bigger audience. So that's why I went to organizations and Children's Aid Society and a whole list of what Brian put together as a team of people keeping the data of who's getting what has been very helpful. And this is the kind of thing now, it's been transitioned from just not COVID, but it's always been a part of when we see a disaster, we jump in. It's sort of like the 911 call that we make in general as a thinking part. So I just want to let you know that if you want to get involved in just being part of the volunteer organization, it is an amazing group of people from all different parts of the world like we're doing now. And we were meeting every week on Saturdays at 12 to 1 to let us know how each country, I don't have the exact number, Brian, you do, how many countries were involved in this particular meeting, but at least it was 20, at least maybe probably more, of where they would meet on the telephone, Zoom, and we'd find out how their country, like the Brazil, which was right following us in New York, then Mexico, and the drama that they were having, they felt very privileged to know us as a group to get some counseling themselves. One of the participants in this program, very involved in the blogs itself, her daughter came down, a young daughter came down with COVID. So we were very much, centered on supporting each other as well as trying to put this program out there. So I think Brian has put together this amazing response team that's going to grow now into a different level. And Brian, you may want to speak to what it's become now, besides just the disaster itself. It's another development that's added on.
That's right. We're continuing as a research intervention team, and we welcome any of you to join us. Just email me. We're going to move now to the awards section of our presentation, and I'm going to share with you my screen again. So every year we have had an award for outstanding contribution to school-based family counseling, and is presented each year to someone who's made a significant contribution to the field of school-based family counseling through research or program development. And some of our members who have been here this week are awardees. One is Dr. John Friesen, who was here the first 2 days. And you can see some of the other members who have received awards. Maria Marchetti Mercer will be our keynote speaker next year. And Sister Mary Peter, one of our founders, she died in March, and we had a memorial service for her, which is on our Oxford website. Nancy Iverson, who was here on Friday, has been given an award. Katina is an awardee. Alan Murati is an awardee. And Kathleen Londy is an awardee, along with Ralph Cohen for their work in Connecticut. Michael Kelly has been an awardee, and last year, Narit Kaplan-Toring has been an awardee. And so when we think about this award, which is a yearly award, we like to do it at Oxford. We're not at Oxford, so we have to do it online. And I'm very pleased to announce that this year's awardee is Dr. Helen Sung. Congratulations, Helen.
Yay. Oh, what a surprise. Oh my God. Oh, wow.
For your wonderful work in parenting, listening to the parent testimonials today, which is a reflection of the effectiveness of your work, the A to Z, an acronym that you developed for kind of as a mnemonic device so parents can remember this, is just brilliant. And the fact that the parents feel that it impacts the entire community is wonderful. So few of us work so strongly with parents, and so you are to be commended for this. Very well deserved.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
You well deserved.
Oh, wow.
Hooray!
I appreciate Oxford Symposium so much. From the day I was invited, Brian, remember in 2011, I was having my anxieties about traveling to Hong Kong, and you made it happen. And from then on, my journey began. And every time I really appreciated your support and your collaboration, and enjoy Oxford Symposium.
We've seen you many times. We saw you in Venice. You always have inspired us with your work, and so this award is very well deserved.
Very well.
And you email me your address, and we'll send you the award. It'll come to you. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Our other award is the award for best practice in school-based family counseling. And this is an award that recognizes a program and often an organization, such as a community agency or a school or college, for developing an exemplary school-based family counseling program. Our first award went to the Place to Be program in the United Kingdom, that's involved in over 300 schools, and we gave that to Stephen Adams-Langley. And last year, the Sifriya Pajama library program that integrates schools and parents and children integrated program, the award was given to those folks. And as you may know, we sent out an application form to all of you. And the award this year, I'm looking for the awardee. Here she is. The awardee this year is Christine Tippett. And I'm going to read to you, the letter that we'll be sending her. It says, "Dear Christine, I'm very pleased to announce that you and the Natomas Unified School District are the recipients of the 2020 Award for Best Practice in School-Based Family Counseling. The Mission Possible program that you initiated and carried out in collaboration with the Natomas Unified School District is an exemplary example of best practice in school-based family counseling. The Mission Possible program, which served children, families, and schools from 2004 to 2020, that's 16 years, is a model private practice school district collaboration in school-based family counseling. In your 2016 article in the International Journal of School-Based Family Counseling, you wrote, Mission Possible is a school-based youth and family counseling program operating on elementary, middle, and high school campuses with high-risk students. Its goal is to facilitate students' success academically, socially, behaviorally, and emotionally as they progress through the developmental stages of competency and identity discovery. The trainees have worked at the schools as mental health providers and become integral members of the helping community for the past 16 years. During one of our presentations to the Natomas Unified School District School Board, the program was called a godsend. The services provided at each school include individual counseling, family counseling, group counseling, crisis intervention, community collaboration referral, consultation with staff and administration, and program development. On behalf of the Executive Committee of the Oxford Symposium in School-Based Family Counseling and the Board of the Institute for School-Based Family Counseling, we congratulate you for your inspiring work.
Thank you. Congratulations, Christine.
Congratulations, Christine.
Thank you. That warms my heart and brings tears to my eyes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Oh, don't cry. You're going to make me cry now.
I started the program because Brian said, could you bring what we do at the Child and Family Center into Sacramento? And I said, if I can do it the way I want, I will do it. And I approached the Natomas district and they let me. And so I did. And there it is. Thank you.
And you know, this program ran for 16 years. How many mental health programs run even for 5 or 10 years? So that to me is just a remarkable achievement. And you remember in Wade's last slide, he had something about school-based family counseling being done in a private practice model. Well, that's what this was.
Right.
It was a private practice model working with a school district.
Right.
So, and if you
And
want to
with
read
it,
and
70 USF graduate students went through it, and from it, over 3,000 students were helped, according to the research that I conducted on a qualitative basis over the 16 years. So I know that in terms of data. Mm-hmm.
And you can read all about it in the International Journal for School-Based Family Counseling,
right.
where Christine
Yep.
has an article.
Yep.
Okay, we now move to the final phase of our webinar. And it's where I'd like each of us to just take a minute and try to limit yourselves to a minute because there are close to 30 of us, so we can finish in half an hour if we do this. And I'm going to ask you to just comment on what you're taking away from this webinar, any comments you want to make. And I'm going to kind of go in order as I see you on my screen, otherwise it'll be hopeless for me to do this. So Narit.
You want me to start?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Brian. So I'm the first in your line? Okay.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. I really, really appreciated this symposium, webinar, collaboration between us, and I already missed all of you. Really, I don't know for tomorrow. I'm already miss you. Yeah. Hopefully we can meet again next year, face to face, and be together.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Narit. Jackie?
Brian, first of all, I'm sure I speak for everyone, but the humility that you have has been an inspiration to all of us about what can be accomplished. As Margaret Mead said, never be surprised what a small group of people can do. But I'm going to switch over to her taking a small group of people and say one person, and that would be award to you, Brian. I think we all have that same emotional feeling about the work you do. And every time I'm at a meeting such as the symposium, I really have to think about it the next day to absorb everything. I just feel that if you ask me tomorrow, I won't stop talking. You'll probably have to get a hook. Thank you. Thank you all. It's been wonderful seeing all the new people and of course the old friends that I've made at Symposium.
Thank you, Jackie. Katina?
Unmuted yet. Okay. I want to say is I think this has been an incredible opportunity for us to meet across time zones, across countries, in a time when we are actually confounded to being at home. And for that reason, I'm taking away wonderful connections that that reaffirmed the connections previously made and affirmed also new connections. And I thank you to everybody who came, all the presenters, every single presentation, and I attended everything. Was great. I just was so excited about everything. And I'm so happy that it's published online so that I can share it with other people who could not attend, who could not stay awake for the evenings. Thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you, Katina. Kathy?
Oh, my heart is just so full. And I feel the same kind of connection. My grandmother or my granddaughter taught me many years ago that we can have a connection even if we aren't face to face, and that this is a medium that this year has meant more to me, I think, than any other conference I've been to. You are doing just such important work, everybody, and thank you. It's just such a privilege to be part of this group. Thank you. And Brian, thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Peter?
I echo what everybody has said, particularly what you have said, Kathy, just now. This has been such an imminent, intimate experience. I love the gallery view where I can see everybody's faces, and it's been an inspiration to know that the Oxford Symposium, our college, is still intact and functioning as well or better than ever before. And I've been surprised and gratified by how much I have enjoyed getting up so terribly early to be here with you all. It's been a wonderful therapy for me, and thank you. Let's do it again soon.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, Helen.
I
Heather
feel like,
Nelson.
oh, sorry.
So thank you. It's been amazing. It's almost 2 a.m. for me, but I have got so much from this conference and so many little notes written for myself to go away and look at and ponder on. Thank you, Brian, and thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you so much, Helen. Selena.
Well, I am really very, very grateful for all the presentations. For this symposium have been a very, I think that a very supporting way to came through to these special times. And I think we can meet, we can share the wonderful work you are doing around the world, and this has been a very enriching experience for me, and I am really very, very grateful for being part of this symposium, for learning so much about your work, and to have the possibility to share with all of you this wonderful day. So thank you, because I have learned a lot, and I have feel very, as I have said in previous symposium, being working with persons that are doing beautiful work around the world, and at the same time I feel being in a family. So thank you for your kindness, generosity, humility, and for letting us be better person, not only better professional, better person. So thank you to all of you, and it has been a pleasure.
Thank you, Selena. Barbara and Steve Pomerantz.
Unmute myself.
Yes.
Okay.
There we are. We're unmuted.
Unfortunately, we just joined the group this morning, but I think I missed a lot, and I'll probably look at the recordings and regret that I wasn't part of it from the beginning. But whoever had this idea, Brian, of having a Zoom conference.
It was your idea.
It was brilliant. Oh, that's right, it was.
And
it's great. Go
right,
ahead.
and I echo Steve's comments. I will look forward to viewing the recording. I had the opportunity and the honor of being part of the 2012 Symposium and got to speak a bit about what we were doing in California at the time through our Student Mental Health Policy Work Group. And we did have Shashank, Dr. Joshi, come and present. He was part of our group. And we had Christine Tippett as part of the group. And of course, Christine, I have to share that the first day that you came into my English learners class and you knocked on the door and you came in and you made the announcement that Mission Possible would be available at Natomas High School. And I jumped up and down and I said, woohoo! And you asked my students, do you want to see Mrs. Pomerantz jump up and yell again? And they all said, yeah. So she went back outside the door, knocked again, they opened it. And of course I did exactly the same thing. And my students were just like, oh my gosh. And then I asked her to explain what that meant. And they were thrilled. And I made a referral the very next day. And luckily a young woman was able to get really appropriate services. So I will always be grateful, Christine. Thank you for beating down the door of bureaucracy at Natomas Unified School District while I was still there. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
love you.
Barbara.
Tina, congratulations on being able to retire and go back home. And I hope all is well with you. And Brian, you and Olive have been amazing. You can tell I have a lot more words than my my wonderful husband. But thank you. It's thrilling. And I agree. This is an amazing medium for feeling close to people who are so far away and so meaningful, doing such meaningful work. And I'm retired now, but I'm a full-time grandma and loving the experience. So thank you again, Brian. Thank you. Love to everybody.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Steve. Erwin.
So, well, I guess what I would say is that it's very hard for a Greek to talk less than 1 minute. So I'll do my best. I would say that what I've learned is that I was reminded as to why I was attracted to school-based family counseling when I first met Brian like 2 years ago, which was that it believes that problems can be solved. And I think that they can be solved if we work together. And one of the things that, you know, I've been feeling is kind of a pessimism given our certain social conditions right now. And attending this conference just made me realize that, you know, we can, if we work together, solve problems. And yesterday, I attended yesterday's conference, and the presentations were an example of that. Selena's presentation on this wonderful national initiative on building executive function in students and capacity building among teachers. It was just really nice to see that, yes, we have problems. Yes, there are things that we might not like, but yes, we can also do things about it if we work together. And I just appreciated being reaffirmed of that message. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Erwin. Tony.
Well, I'm kind of the new kid joke on the block. And I find myself being reminded of a Whitman poem in which there's a line that says, "If not this place, then what other?" And I must say that this is the place. There is no other.
Thank you, Tony. Eileen.
I am so grateful to be part of this. I feel very fortunate. And I feel like if there's hope for the world, it's going to be through school-based family counseling. I've had house guests this week, so I haven't been able to be complete, but I'm looking forward to catching up on the ones that I've missed. So I appreciate this, and I hope everybody stays healthy and does well. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. Myrta.
Well, thank you, Brian. I would like to express my gratitude to each and every one of you for making this symposium a place of learning and in which our academic experience can be shared. Thank you again. Thank you, Gertrina, Kathy, Peter, Sheena, all of you. Thank you, thank you. And apologize my bad English, and I continue study. No, is it a privilege for me to participate in this wonderful meeting? Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Myrta. Erin.
So the last time that I was able to participate in the Oxford Symposium was in 2013 when I co-presented with Sheena. And the thing that struck me the most about that experience was, you know, not just the wealth of knowledge that all of the participants had, but just how even in this incredibly beautiful space, it felt so unpretentious because everyone was so accessible. Everyone wanted to have a conversation, wanted to share resources and experiences. And I have not been to a conference like that since. And so I was really excited to hear that, you know, this year it hadn't been canceled and was on Zoom. And I asked Dr. Gerard and Sheena, can I come? Can I join? I know it's been a really long time. And they're like, sure. And so there's still that, you know, air of acceptance and welcoming, regardless of where you are in your career. That is really heartening, that I enjoy so much about and feel so privileged to be a part of through this symposium. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to join you all. I wasn't able to join every day, but really appreciated all of the learning that I acquired just in this short amount of time that I had with you in Zoom. And I look forward to, you know, post-pandemic gatherings and symposiums. So thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Sheena.
Well, I don't even know where to begin, first of all. I guess Brian, I just want to say thank you to you for giving me the opportunity to learn and grow in this field. I started doing the research with you for professors in 2008 and eventually took over Peter's position as the coordinator. I want to say, I think in 2013 or 14, but being able to go to these conferences every year, being able to read the papers, the presentations, to get to sit there with everyone, like Erin said, you know, wanting to talk to people about your presentation and learning more and keeping in touch even, you know, it warms my heart, makes me really happy. I feel like I've learned so much throughout the years, not just that could be applied to the school-based family counseling field, but even for those working with developmental disabilities, which is something that I am passionate about. And, you know, people think that just because you're in school, you have to be a kid, but working with people with DD, it's kind of like a similar thing. They may not be going to school, but they're going to day programs, which is like a school, and they've got, you know, their principals or their teachers. So thank you. Just thank you very much for all of this. And I appreciate coming and I love every single one of you. It gets me so emotional. And lately I've been having little memories pop up on my phone or my little Facebook. So some of you might get some little videos and pictures from me. But thank you again. And I hope to see you guys in person next year.
Thank you, Sheena. Alan.
It's hard to think of a new way to express what I learn every year participating in the symposium. But I do want to thank you, Brian, for being the creative force behind this. I've been involved long enough now to see the ever-growing evolution of school-based family counseling. And as I said early on, being kind of drugged back into academia, I've got a lot of ideas to share with my students from participating this year. I wasn't able to attend all the sessions, but I do plan to review the videos. There's a wealth of information out there. And to borrow an idea from Wade's presentation, I really see us as an international family moving forward and trying to make our world better in whatever little way we can. So thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Daniela. Oh, we can't hear you, Daniela. No, there's no sound. You try to fix the sound. We'll come back to you, okay? Shashank.
Thanks, Brian. I'm going to start with Sheena because as a coordinator, I know how hard it is to really get all of this together. And from when we first met in 2012, 2013, and then seeing you and Brian back on this, it does feel very familiar, very comforting. And I'm just reminded that during the time of COVID, when this work can be hard enough in our everyday job, in addition to the way it impacts our families and, you know, our parents, if we're lucky enough to have parents who are living, or grandparents. But the lesson here, it comes from the palliative care community. In palliative care medicine, you might imagine, like, how could those folks stay so positive and so engaged? And I do this with some of our graduate students in education. And I asked them a multiple choice question. In the interest of time, I won't go through it. But basically, I asked them, you know, do you think it's the incredible patient stories as they're at the end of their lives, when you're taking care of them, that keeps palliative care doctors in the field and have the lowest burnout rate? Or do you think it's the intellectual stimulation, because you have to know all of medicine in order to really care for these folks, because usually all of their systems are failing and you have to manage their pain and their emotional health? Do you think it's the colleagues? Anyway, 4 questions. They always get it wrong. It's the colleagues. Some of them guess the colleagues, but it reminds me of this group. You know, being able to be part of the SBIRT, and even though I can't come to these every year, this last 4 days has been a reminder about how we can continue to do this work, because we're all connected internationally. And Brian and Sheena, you found a way to keep it going this year. And I've just been so full of gratitude, and I appreciate colleagues on this call who I've met for the first time reaching out, and me being able to reach out to you all, and people like Brian, Sheena, Barbara, Christine, Alan, people who got me into this in order to connect me with the new folks. So thank you, and all the people who presented. I've learned so much, and I, like everyone else, I have a big thing of notes here to go through. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Sibnath.
I greatly enjoyed all the presentations and realized how important this school-based family counseling symposium. Last year, I had the opportunity to attend the program, and I could not attend all the lectures. But this time, religiously, I attended despite internet connectivity problem. Even I was feeling so embarrassed that on the day of my presentation, internet connectivity problem put me in a very embarrassing situation. Although finally, I could join and answer the questions, the questions raised by other friends. So this COVID, as well as the internet connectivity, despite all these challenges, nothing could stop us to continue this sort of a good work. It is highly encouraging, enriching, beneficial for each one of us. I personally learned a lot, and I'm highly motivated learning from each one of you, that people think so carefully about various aspects of children welfare, and there is such a serious thought how to ensure better education, resolving family issues through school. And this is a great initiative taken by the organizers. I especially express my sincere gratitude to Brian for bringing me in this group and giving me opportunity twice, last year and this year, to share my experience. I would love to remain connected to this group to learn every day from all the researchers. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Sibnath. MA, are you there? Okay, I don't think MA is there. Somebody, LKK, I don't know who this person is, but if you're there and you want to speak, just unmute yourself. No? Okay. Laura Wallace?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everyone from Seattle, and I apologize for not having my video on. I think what I'm taking away the most from this conference is just inspiration, the ability to speak with people from all over the world about things that are so relevant to us locally and so exciting as far as seeing how they impact our communities has just been indescribable. And I really appreciate this group and all the organizers for making it happen.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Wade?
I just really appreciate the opportunity to be able to present and see all of the exciting things going on around the world, and to be able to see how I can fit in with that and be able to come back next year. Thanks so much.
Someone else is proud of you too.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, Helen Soon?
Oh, I would describe this as being most memorable symposium in the circumstances that we're in, that we have so many participants and the different topics that we learned about, and just, you know, just growing together one another. And one thing that's really unique about the symposium is that we get to hear everyone's topic, and we all kind of participate, unlike some other conferences where people are split into different topics and not able to hear everybody. So I appreciate the format and how it is designed. And really thank you for organizing and spearheading this wonderful symposium. I appreciate it. Very memorable event.
Thank you, Helen. Christine?
Oh, I feel grateful for the chance to reconnect with the people that I only met through the Oxford Symposium, the people that I've continued to work with through the Oxford Symposium, the people that I got a chance to see again through this, and to hear about through this thing. Congratulations, Helen, for getting the other award. And I'm just glad to be together again with you guys who I haven't seen since the last time I was at Oxford. So this is just wonderful, and I'm glad to hear about all the wonderful work that everyone's doing. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Christine.
Yeah, thank you.
Daniela has sent me a chat message. Sorry, I don't know why my microphone doesn't work. I just want to say it's the first time for me at the symposium. It's been a wonderful experience. I've learned a lot, so thank you very much. I hope to see you all again. Let's stay in contact. Okay, thank you, Daniela. Have I missed anybody?
Yourself, Brian, what did you take away?
Several of you said some very nice things about me, and I've decided I do have a talent. I'm good at finding wonderful people who feel passion about helping children and families. So I will acknowledge that attribute. And I have to say, whenever I'm with all of you, and there's some of us that couldn't be here this time because they're in other parts of the world and our timing is a bit off, but I thought about ways to fix that when we do the next webinar. But it's a very moving experience for me. It's always inspiring, and it sort of energizes me to want to go out and do battle, as it were, with the forces that make it difficult. There are barriers for us in doing school-based family counseling, and there are barriers. But all of you have been working on the front lines of this new field, and I am deeply grateful to you and deeply grateful to the executive committee of the Oxford Symposium, to Alan, Gertina, Sheena, Peter, Narit. Hope I didn't miss anybody. This brings us to a conclusion. I want to thank all of you. This video and all the other videos will be tonight up on the Oxford Symposium website for you to view. And I hope that this pandemic will be over soon so we can rejoin each other at Oxford. And if for some reason we're not able to because of the pandemic, this has certainly been a much more wonderful way to connect. And I never thought it would be this rewarding, and it's just been great. It's been very intimate, as one of you said. So thank you all. Take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the future.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.